serious mode too. That gang stalkers, like, you know, man, sending the goods now. You know what I mean? So they stand around, they act like they don't know what the hell they doing, but they should be paying close attention to thine self. So I had this water, you know. It's see, pull it over right here. Boom, this one can feel it. See, that's good as I didn't know that was right there, but I kind of felt it though. Yeah, we're gonna jump into it though. We're talking about, you know, and it's to be expected. You know what I mean? We're original and shit. I'm a original person. You know, I got melanin. We all know the truth of melanin now. We're in the stage of a development that we should be knowing, you know, using our intuitive abilities that we have now, even in Mercury retrograde that we got going on, you know, and that can affect a lot of things too, as far as like with us communicating in our intellectual, you know, levels of just understanding things. Mercury retrograde is important for those who don't, you know, adhere to the zodiac. So yeah, we're gonna jump into this, man. So I see that a lot of FBAs, this is for like, you know, the home team, our brothers, you know, our home team, the family, you know, I'm talking about, you know, niggas, Black Americans and shit like that. Man, these motherfuckers all up on me because I got the flies on my hand. You know. I'm over here doing myself. So as to be expected, you see on my other channel, man, I had a crowd around. You know, it's crazy because you doing you in this chapter, it's gonna cause you know, tower moments. And if we did this on a whole level, like all of us dealing with the celibacy, we'll start building up our honor again and kind of break away from a narcissistic entity who has an entitlement issue, which was us in the first Saturday on play. Because, you know, we're getting ready for the hate. The hate jumps up into the game, you know what I'm saying? It's all going to be geared around the sex type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, gaslighting and projection with this whole cluster B, we're breaking everybody down. But things that we need to know now in order for us to further grow mentally, spiritually, and, you know, physically as a whole and as a people. Because at the way things is going right now, we're not meant to be doing anything, nigga, but just chilling. And there's real money out there. You should have to hustle and bustle for all this type of money that you do, you know, and money that you may need to thrive. But at the same time, you don't need to, you know, have much. He who has little, you know what I'm saying, they can function with that. You know what I'm saying? Just be grateful. I'm going to get simply water. I got a power phone. Talking on the phone. When people from around the world, they probably like, man, what the hell you be talking about? It's stuff just dealing with the home base, our family. You know, Black folk in America, things of that nature. Everybody was trying to, you know, get into our, you know, our ciphers. Just be a part of us. Love you guys. He's a drop of water in the eye, evidently, huh? Shit. You wondering about the unity? How does that happen? Well, you know, unity happens. First, we have to have something to agree upon. It's hard to have your mind in a sharp sense of being a mastermind, which you naturally are. You know, but you're constantly being in a world of individuals who, you know, partake in sexual gratification. Hey, what's happening? Well, I be wanting to say the names, man. But I see Blue up in there. I was just saying, like, who, you know, my peoples around the world be wondering, like, what the hell you be talking about? But it's for the home base, for the home family of Nagas, man, because, you know, we're really naturally kind, and we don't like to say that. Like, we're really good people, but it's like, in the time that we're in right now, we know we've been separated, and, you know, our families and shit like that, you know, we've been called different names, Black, African, American, whatever they wanted to call us, you know, and that our land was taken from us, that button pusher in the back, man, that our land was taken from us, you know, and that we was held to be, you know, forced prisoners of war on our own and the plantations. We were chiefs. Hey, what's happening, y'all? What's going on? I'd love to see y'all. So your voice is Franklin's from GTA. Thanks for joining in, man. So how are you? I'm well. You know, I'm jumping in here. We got the nice little vibes out. You know, my foot on the lava stone. You know, we're just grounded, you know. Animals that's around here, they high vibratorial, so that feels pretty good. Thanks for just jumping in real fast. So, yeah, so we just, you know, a lot of people, you know, be wondering, like, you know, especially of our own, you know, we kind of disagree on the names that we want to be called. And also, this is Mercury retrograde, so it's going to be some type of with the words and shit. Not because the nigga got big lips like a camel and shit, but that's just like, you know, it's just the words going to be coming out in different ways, probably because the intellect and Mercury is so-called retrograding. You know, we learned these things a long time ago, so anything that's dealing with communication that can break up and all that shit like that, and, you know, traveling and making business decisions at these times, you know, can go down. So anyways, back to the message. So we've been in the misnomer, gave all kind of names. So I'm revisiting this. It's good too, because with retrograde, you're gonna have a lot of thoughts of just the past and who fucked you over and why did you do this, so and so, and all this stuff. So it's good for us to be able to handle these things. We're just, you know, we're naturally priests and priest kings and shit. So we're just giving you confirmation that we can just tap into that with each other. Hey, I'm from Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. Peace. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, and I live in Minnesota, Memphis. My dad from Memphis. I live in Memphis, Chicago. On the south side of Chicago, shit, 32nd roads, man. King Drive in the 80s, man. And then, you know, we moved up to Minneapolis, where everybody moves to for a time being. Where the George Floyd situation happened at, you know, unfortunately, you know, how they do things of that nature. It says, I don't know what that means. So what are you saying? I know my people's wondering, like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about black folks in America that we all call niggas. You know, we listen to music, you know, we'd be like, niggas. So niggas in America, that means kings. So that's a way that we call each other kings. White man didn't make that name up for us. So we're here letting that know, like, white folks didn't make that up. We was already calling each other niggas, whether it was in a bad form or in a good form, but we still had honorable, you know, this projection of ourselves, like, man, this nigga, like, you know, or man, I love this nigga. It's the way we said it. It's in the tone. We spoke, and we still do speak in tones and rhythm and, you know, octaves and you know, higher pitches. When you hear a brother being like getting a high voice and the mama gets a high voice, like, man, what the fuck is wrong? You know, and they mean something and shit. You know, be like, nigga, you getting a high voice on me, man. It's soul. We connected to the Creator. Watama is our land, you know, and they didn't tell the whole world that. They tried to make it seem like we didn't have nothing in America. So they gave us different names, and you know, they kind of swayed us out of our kindness. And you hear the term kindness for weakness. That's, in a way, it was kind of weak because we were dealing with people that we thought were people, you know, and these people really gaslighted and projected their insecurities onto our people for hundreds of years. And thought we was dealing with someone, you know, that were honest at first, but then you had to understand, now as we grew psychologically and spiritually, we see now we can, boom, diagnose it with the cluster B personality disorder. We can find this in ICD-9, ICD-10 medical terminology books, and see where it stems from when you're dealing with these type of people. Because it is legend said that these people that was dealing with us, you know, and I'm not talking about the black evil people, because they know we'll read them as like, oh, nigga, you evil, you can't be around us. Because niggas treat each other a certain way. Like, if we know you bad, nigga, oh, you bad, you playing the game. Oh, yeah, nigga, I'm finna get your ass, type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a cluster B personality disorder, but if you cool, you cool. So it's like we'll see through them when we see niggas from foreign countries come to our land and see how they set up. If they set up and be like, this is mine over here, drawing lines, and, you know, we're not, you know, offensive. We're not gonna go cross your line. You know what I'm saying? Like being habitual line stepper. Like, you can pick your line, nigga. We'll let you have your line. We'll let you have a big ass line. We'll tell you about your land over there and everything and shit. You know? And but we was dealing with, they niggas knew that, so we kicked certain niggas up out of our land, you know, certain black folks, and kicked them in and allowed them to go and develop what they did. But then during that time, they developed a scheme to get back to our land. So that's what nobody was like figuring out. Like, damn, these niggas created biological weaponry, basically our artificial intelligence to walk amongst us and shit. Not all of them motherfuckers is evil, but a lot of them want to learn. But when you're dealing with a whole, the narcissism within it can kind of throw you off. Or the psychopathic, you know, personality disorder, being have to communicate with everybody, and you see a white motherfucker, they be looking at you, they see you, you make eye contact, and they be like, hey, how you doing? Huh? And you be like, got your headphones on, you're like, what? You know, that's if you don't really deal with white folks like that, but you're not mad at them. We don't even mad at nobody. And they come to see and understand it, just like the Hawaiians. Hawaiians weren't really mad at nobody. If you weren't, you know, if you was producing, you was producing. But they kind of got a little flack towards the Micronesians, because the Micronesians is kind of like the Mexicans to niggas in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is a lot. It's deep. It's deep. So, just went from back because I'm drawing the crowd, man. I got that energy permeating through that celibacy and all that stuff. And that's what we all gonna be doing. But we're going back to the whole little being a narcissistic supply in America, and, you know, black man being or people being America's narcissistic supply. Now we're using the cluster B personality, meaning that now like I hear that word a lot. And what does supply mean? That means something that they rely on something that they do not have within their own being to give them this boost of life. Basically, when you're dealing with a relationship, you're dealing with a narcissistic person, whether it's man or woman. You know, a man, we can use that as a good example. If he has status, you know, and he's able to do things, he normally have a woman that if she's an empath, she's like his rock. And, you know, she listens to her and all these things, but he damn near, he goes, you know, he has trigger moments and slaps her up and does abusive things and shit, you know, and then go into the world with this mask on, like, yeah, you know, like, I'm this perfect motherfucker, but at home, he's like, oh, fucked up. And she's trying to console him, but it's like her pouring all her light into him. It's like just draining her of all her empathy and all her spiritualness, her spirituality and shit. So by the time she's done and get to a point like 20 years later and shit, you know, she's used up, he'll go out and go find another wife. And that's kind of like in the movie Waiting to Exhale, without saying that that brother was a narcissist that left Angela Bassett. Hey, English came from the tribal. You already know. You already know. To show respect. You already know. And I wanted to say it, but I ain't say it. I'm glad you jumped in and said what it did. It said, what is, so what, it said, look like my village. Bro, say something else. Let's see, English came from our tribal tongue, so show respect. You already know. The Anglo, the Angler, the true Angler. You already know. What's up? Jeez, I was so happy you bro said it. I wanted to say it in my head. I was like, I wanted one of the guys to say something. Next thing you know, God stepped up in there and said something like, yeah, English came from one of our tribal motherfuckers. Yeah, you better know that. You better know that. Like, that's why I know that. I feel that, brother. We got ancestors around. We chilling. We out here. I had to get all the way out here. You know what I mean? To get this back. You know what I mean? But to unite us though, now, you know what I'm saying? We got to go a step further. Now we got to really stop having sex, really, and get back to being like, you know, children again, and not in a way of like having childish ways. No, you'll be more in the spirit of more accepting and developing and ascending more so, and defeating wicked and low vibratory entities. It's more than just physical shit. Because everybody talk about the spirit, they be like, think spirit. Yeah, there's multiple spirits more than what people are on Earth. If there's 7 billion people on Earth, then just how many spirits is there? You know, there's at least 5 to each one of those 7 billions. So there's a lot of spirits on Earth, and there's a lot of inspiration that's going on. And so to separate us from the rest of the inspiration of the world, it's very important for niggas, for the FBAs or the Indians, to be separate and have their own territory in their section to be able to heal from a narcissistic, abusive motherfucker. The one who always try to, you know, gaslight and project our insecurities onto the rest of the world, like we did this shit and made this up. And like, no, we gotta look back at what y'all was really doing. You took over the lands and took over our chiefs' homes, our tribal homes, where you know, just, you know, you took over our mounds, you go and desecrate our mounds, you did all kind of shit. You did it with your own hands. And you wrote books. You know what I'm saying? So now we're able to use the information and turn it back. You didn't even want us to even know our own language. You didn't even want us to even know what English was. You know what I'm saying? We talk the whole world. That's why everybody's speaking it now. And they wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the head language. And a lot of Pacific Islanders don't realize why they speak English so good. Like, you speak English better than a Chinese or Asian man, motherfucker. You don't hear no accent in your ass unless you're just a regular, you know, you hear the accent, but it's not like a choppy accent. Like, come here, brother. Let me show you something, brother. That's not choppy. It's smooth, like how we talk. Like, yeah, man, da-na-na-na-na. You know what I'm saying, man? We talk like that. You know, it's with vibe and vibration. But then, if we want to be philosophical, we want to read and come off scholar-like, because everybody who reads is a scholar. It's school shit. You know, you go to school, you can be in school right on the wall, chilling, reading, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we know how to articulate our words and enunciate our words, even in the Mercury retrograde. You know what I'm saying? He said, exactly. We got supreme completely from the side. You know, to separate. You already know. And so, this just like a woman, right? Or a man. If you with a chick that's a narcissistic chick, you kind of like her. She's very tuned into her masculinity. You know what I mean? She's got a divine masculine, but her divine masculine is toxic. So she's drawing in men at different stages and using them as supply sources. She used men that are in their feminine energy, but not in their divine feminine energy. So it's kind of like she's pimping these motherfuckers until she runs into a divine feminine energy man that's like, oh no, bitch, you know, I get all you divine masculine women when y'all in y'all natural state. Y'all be around me, shit, you know, and they know that already. But that's why they looking for a mug to tame them. But during that time, you know, narcissists are you know, to break up from a chick that's, even if she's comorbid, a mixture of narcissists. Let me check my back, because I feel extra shit. Nah, ain't cool. Pardon me, y'all. I'm tucked under and shit, because if I stand up, they're like, oh, it's a nigga, honey. Cameras get to popping out and shit. I ain't think I see a nigga out here. So, anyways, though, and I'm thinking they ain't want me to say that, but they got antennas on them. Where they go, they can switch up the weapons in the sky, but they got them antennas working. You know, they doing something. But yeah, we go back to, you know, separating from a chick. She could be a comorbid, meaning it could be a mixture of, you know, a lot of, you know, narcissism, sociopath, and a histrionic. You know, if you had a chick like that, those are most chicks in the hood. You know, a histrionic, a very voluptuous, thick woman. You know what I'm saying? She's very cool. She's vibing. She like attention. It don't even matter who. She'll talk to anybody and shit. Don't judge really type shit. You know what I'm saying? And so then if she's mixed with a borderline, that means she's even more hypersexual now. So you got this voluptuous mug who's very hypersexual, who probably experienced something when she was younger and went through some things. You know. And this is what's dealing with our culture. We're not talking about the incubator Cabbage Patch Kids yet, because we know they ain't got no source. So doesn't matter. They already feel this goddamn way. So us, we just got like traits, and some of us got the pathologicalness. So that's why our children is growing up a certain way. But once we take back the power with our celibacy and showing that the OGs can do it, because we at an age, we're the OGs at this point. We still get hit on by wisdoms, females that's like 20 years old. Back when I was younger, my dad wasn't getting hit on by no 20-year-old unless she was a crackhead or something. You know what I'm saying? Because he already been through the 70s and shit, smoking, snorting, and pimping hoes and shit like that. You know what I mean? So the bitches he probably attracted was gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? As he grew out of that, he was attracting more, you know, women who grew out of that too. You know what I'm saying? You know, strong women also. But it takes a strong person and people to do shit like that. To go through these schools that the Most High already designed for us. But yeah, back to the narcissism shit, because everybody throw the narcissism around. You know, narcissism is a part of the whole 4 cluster B personality main joints, which is, you know, sociopath, narcissist, BPD, borderline personality, and histrionic. You know, and within those, you got different sects. You know, within the borderline, which is I put the middle one up, that you know what I'm saying. That's for you know, a hypersexual individual who gained their supply through sex and just being very seductive. You have a woman like that, like, damn, she got another nigga already. You know, she's very seductive. And if she got a little histrionic in her, I mean, she got a little ass and little titties and shit, she gonna be fucking all the time. And then you gonna know that's a kind of like a dangerous pussy to have. So you don't want to claim that to be your girlfriend. Okay, that's like a borderline type of woman. But when we're dealing with America, we're dealing with sociopaths. We're the empaths, meaning that we're like we're the empaths that turn into borderline histrionics, meaning that we're borderline psychopathic. You know, being that we've been gaslighted and projected their insecurities light onto us. We don't necessarily have it pathological like they do, because they ain't gonna be able to switch up. What it is with them, it's just what it is. 2 + 2 will always be 4, and I gotta say it like that because it ain't gonna never change and shit. It means that that's just evidence that everything always is, was, and will be. That's the truth, and that's the answer, you know. And so once we use refinement, which is what we know, to remove the trash and filth within our cipher, we'll be able to see clearly and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then apply that truth like, man. So we treat these motherfuckers like that, like psychologically. Niggas kind of know when niggas is off a little bit and how to manipulate and how to use them. But now we're just giving the words to the shit now. Now we're using, okay, this is what it is, a borderline, and they've been experiencing incest and shit like that. Like kind of like white folks, they've been experiencing incest, and they be the ones that's most with dealing with these sex trafficking, them and the agents. Some brothers call them the Tamahu and the Amu and all that, you know what I'm saying? But they are very heavy on them, and some of our women too. You know, this is why we got to be really on point with our culture and our tribes and shit, because that allowed them, they'll think that we don't give a fuck. We develop the point to like where they're at. Like, we don't give a fuck. They taking seeds and this, that, and the third and shit, you know? And, or if we looked at our seed as a supply source or whatnot, and not as a loving being that we're here to raise up. So this right here is us separating from the devil, or just separating from a narcissistic entity, a sociopathic entity who has to go around the world to prey on weaker empathic cultures in order to gain their trust, their love, You know what I'm saying? And basically, it's like getting another chick or she getting another dude type shit. And you at home and main base got like, yo, I got all this, but you treating me all bad and shit, slapping the motherfucker up. Now letting everybody know now the secret out. Oh, you slapping the motherfucker up and shit. Oh, now the secret out even more. You came to my house. Hey, they ain't even build that place. They already had that motherfucker built. That's kind of like how it is. Now it's like they at a point where they fear the separation, where like our spirits ready, like our ancestors, each one of us who have a connection to our grandparents and shit, are finally linking up and doing what's right for the children, because they try to separate us for generations in the spirit world. This is why manipulation from the spirit realm, like necromancy, was able to take hold of us. Like we was like zombies and still dealing with equality with these motherfuckers, but these motherfuckers weren't dealing in equality with us, because why? They were afraid that we'll find out how filthy they was in all their affairs and we'll run from amongst us. Kind of like what we're gonna do now. And they just don't know. They know that we're gonna do it, they just don't know how we're gonna do it. And that's the important part about the whole situation. Hey, what's happening? It says Fidwa. Hey, so yeah, you know, as far as like separating from a situation, you got to be like to a point where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to deal with these people. It has to be certain groups that shows that it's gonna happen. Of course, they watching a nigga and shit, and it's more than just going to go get some land and you pop up on some land and you think you're gonna work this shit out, and people are dealing with, you know, different religions, and you know, you got a brother over here who's a Sunni Muslim, you got a brother over here who's an NOI Muslim, you have a brother over there that's the Hebrew Israelites and shit, you know what I'm saying? But they all trying to live on the same land, but they got a difference in religion. They're not gonna have no type of coming together, no type of unity and shit. So it's gonna be hard for niggas to actual delineate. Yeah, I like that word. It'll be hard for that to happen. Shit, you know what I'm saying? So, and it gets to a point where, in order to break up, we're gonna have to like find a common ground in order for us to unite, a common cause. This is what they're threatening for, you know what I mean? Because they know that once we find the common cause, it's a wrap, you know. And so we want to keep it like that. We want to, and it's a very simple thing too. And it's simple, but yet it's complex. It could be punishment to a lustful person who don't want to deal with their inner devils. You know, if they have some type of devils or any devils that was projected upon them during their act and being in connection with a cluster B personality disorder species type shit. You know what I mean? Entities. You know, because breaking up is the most fearful thing that a narcissist they really fear. They do not want their main narcissistic supply source to even get wind of breaking up with their motherfucking ass. You mean to tell me you're gonna leave me alone forever? I mean, I can understand you don't go to a couple of my shits, but you're gonna leave me alone forever? So we're at the point where black folks is at a point where we're gonna leave them alone forever. Meaning that you have to have no contact with a narcissist. If you have a abusive, toxic relationship with a narcissist, you gotta break up and go no contact. If not, they're gonna always hoover around, see what you're doing, see what's popping off. What this motherfucker doing now? How much you learn? He ain't over there hurting this shit. The spell ain't working. They're looking at our people like this now, you know, and we haven't granted any gift to us. So you gotta understand, as far as like what people is dealing with niggas, you're gonna have to be able to, niggas are gonna have to come together first. It's like, nigga, we gotta have it out as words. It's like, we can't have it no other way. Because nobody understands it completely. And everybody have to be able to have their own little sections first before we be able to come on together. Biblically, they refer to it as Judah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Judah got to come together and do what they do. So this is very detrimental, man, for the development of our people and development of the rest of the whole entire fucking universe. If this don't work and this don't happen, then ain't nothing gonna happen. See? Let me check my little surroundings and shit. All right, we're back in the game. Yeah. We got some sisters that walked up on the lava rock. You know what I mean? They probably got some ancestors out here. There's a lot of mounds out this month, you know? We esoterically connecting, and that's kind of what they kind of fear. Us breaking up with them and getting back in tune with our natural selves, you know? Getting in tune with nature, breathing the elements, and, you know, coming together for one true common cause. If you don't have that one true commonality, you know what I'm saying? A corporation can't even form. A business can't even form. You gotta have some type of common thing, and you can say a punishment, but a punishment is it'll be inflicted on yourself. You know? we're not here to like slap the palms and slap backs of people as a punishment. You know, if we don't have an agreement on one thing, because we have so many different religions, like, you know, Hebrew Israelites and the Muslims and the 5%, and, you know, everybody that if we want to get some land, we all try to live on the land, but we're all talking different ways. And it's like, no, this is still from one who sabotaged our way of life. We're living on a false Sabbath. Today is the Sabbath. I just feel like I'm talking to my people, so I don't really call it as work, but most I look at it as work too. You know, but at the same, because the moon, this is a new moon day, so this is the true Sabbath, you know, and this is why it's imperative for all of us to know what the Sabbath is anyway. Like having a commonality, you know, something that's, we have a common ground to stand upon, more than something that we can just put our word on. We have to put our light on it too. You can't just say shit no more, man. You can't just say nothing anymore. The word don't stand without the light. The light backs up the word, and that's really what it is, because it already existed in the light before it came down into the physical flesh form that we call wisdom, solids, liquids, and gases, that we able to observe. So yeah, for us to get together, we have to be able to address, you know, our narcissistic relationship with America, going no contact, especially for a season if America feels need to want to still do business with us. You know, we're not at a point where we're causing death or hell and destruction, selling drugs. We don't have the access to none of those things. We don't have access to a lot of things that's causing hell and harm in America today. So all we're at a point is where we're at a point where a lot of our people don't feel the need to come together solely, but that's that fear of like not facing the true God, the fear of not facing the true self. Like our people don't really want to, some of our people are fearful of us wanting to just be by ourselves. You know, it's like facing God, you know, and they want to include other races, and it's like, that's not really right. You know, you really got to really deal with yourself. That's the only way you're going to truly heal. The only way. And you know, that's the only way we're going to argue. It's the only way we're going to talk shit. It's the only way we're going to hug. It's the only way we're going to eat right. It's the only way. It ain't no other way. Most I said it too, and it's going to be shown even more, because you're going to see it. Ain't no other way. You're going to come crawling back. You check it out. It's stubborn. We are stubborn, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to jump in real quick. I didn't want to go too long. I want to stick at the 30-minute mark. But I might jump back in later and shit for the little haters if they want to say something. But yeah, breaking up from a narcissist is very important. No contact. Making our own stuff. Those who want to who want to have businesses, who want to have grocery store, that should be the first thing to do. We can come together and have our own co-ops in our own local areas. We don't have to be so spread out, and so, you know, doing business with a demographic that may or may not support us, to a form where they can actually have a vote secretly and be like, no, don't shop from them type shit. So whereas where we're dealing with our own self, facing our own self, which a lot of our brothers and sisters, black folks, FBAs or whatever you want to call us, don't want to do. So they kind of leave the hood. So, but we do have to fix the good, the bad, and the ugly. The niggas that's in the hood as well. I mean, if they were going to be around us and shit, they'll catch on. They have a thing called common sense when Most High created, you know what I'm saying? So, but that being said, man, you know, that should be one of the main things. And so just to end it off with this, you wonder how it's celibacy. To agree on one common cause. Celibacy is going to get you right back in order, G. You'll notice. And then you'll start being more sensitive to what spirituality is, instead of just talking about spiritual nature and what is going on and all of this. You'll be able to sense what real, true spirituality is. Your higher senses. When things are in your circumference, you'll notice these things. And then you'll just want to unite with other brothers that's noticing just like you, and you don't want to be around somebody that's like that. You'd rather be with self other than being with anyone else. And that's the truth. But to the brothers and sisters who don't want to be with, you know, who's a little fearful of being with ourselves, it's okay. You know what I mean? We're going to do it, you know? The Most High is sifting everything out. The ancestors are sifting everything out over the land right now. And so, with that being said, just prepare. Use this year of celibacy so we can all prepare. And it ain't going to matter what religion we are, because right now it don't matter, because we all different religions on one land, we'll be messing. You know, so we have to find one common cause. And celibacy is that one common cause. And that'll lead us through knowledge. And knowledge is the foundation. Wisdom is the way to the understanding. That'll get us back on. Remember, someone was sacrificed for that, you know. The anointed was protected in their world. Their anointed was protected. But the Most High sacrificed the energy for us to be able to get it, so we can get these mathematics and just showing and proving to ourselves that is no limit. It's proven true in no limit of time. Not have the big eye and little you. So this is how we have it, man. Like just basically coming together on one common cause. Because right now we won't be able to do it, but we got to take celibacy a year off and don't go no contact with the white man. That's pretty much you breaking with us. They're gonna hoover around you, look and see what you're doing, what these niggas is doing. They're not talking to us. They don't have Stockholm syndrome, which is like we broke up with them. They don't want us. They don't call us no more. You know what I'm saying? We don't need. They don't understand that we need their energy. Now they understand that we need their energy. You know, in some other America, anybody who's with that, anybody can be on that frequency, no matter who they are. You know. So this is how we'll be able to unite more than just talking. You know, we get into the spirit world, and that's where we truly at. That's our inheritance. I know it seems like, yo, the flesh is cold and everything. It is. It's good. You know what I'm saying? We went through a harsh school in the flesh and still thriving, you know, even with nothing. So that's even better. But when you strengthen the spirit at this point, which is the season of doing such, celibacy is the first way to do it. That, the food, and then not having the will or desire to try to control another motherfucker. We're only doing it for ourselves. You'll be happy to see yourself. Anybody who's not on your frequency or buoyancy and all that, you don't even want to chill with them because they ain't put the work in to get up to you. They can't even judge you because they didn't even put the work in. How can a person who ain't celibate judge a person who is celibate? How can a person who jacks off judge a person who don't? You know what I mean? And they try, but they see it doesn't even make sense, you know? And it don't, because that was taught to you, learned behavior by these people. You ain't never doing no shit like that. Our women barely even kissed our navels when I was coming up. And yeah, I was the turning point. My generation was the turning point to whereas now you just walk in and eat the ass, beat you, or she gives you boom boom. It's no kissing, no nothing. Shit. You know, mine was a turning point. You know, we had slow music and shit, slow jams and all of this. You know, we did things in groups and shit. You know, they did a good job of separating us, but we were higher up on our kundalini at those times. We was able to come together at whatever function we deemed to be the unit type shit. You know, and so with this is how we get back. It's like, damn, this is how we did it before. Yeah, that's how we did it before. And that's how we're doing it again, because we're the only ones that were uniting in the whole entire world. And the Most High had his hand on us only with the inspiration. And this is the quickest inspiration, the quickest way. We do this, you know, of course, we're the sexiest people on the earth. Our women is, and our men. We just also meaning that, you know, not like seductive wise, but as a form of war, as intelligence and an athletic form, and just being swift. You know, people really want that. But they objectify us too, you know, and then they show us what they do through porn to our women, not loving them. You know, not loving them, but just you know, hurting them because they know we're still connected to them. You know, where they'll put the flag on that try to hurt them and shit. Not hurt them, but you know, make them give head and shit, because they women gave head and all that. And we weren't used to that because they women gave head. We was like, what the fuck is this? You know, and our women was like, nah, because we ain't doing that. That women was like that at first. You know, our boys around sex, man, you know what I'm saying? It's secret sex too, man. Like, you know, going in the bathrooms after men, you know, men doing that. To you, your boys, they don't even mess up your girls no more. They like your boys, man. You know, I was growing up, I remember they took one of the thugs. I'm like, damn, why is he getting all the gifts and shit? We don't know what happened. A lot of things go down, man. With men, though, you know what I'm saying? You see a couple of them in black neighborhoods. They're like in the kid in the candy store and shit, when you see them working around a lot of black kids and shit. But at the same time, some of them is good and some of them ain't. Some of them have motives, you know? You gotta understand that. You know, now it's time for us to get everything back. Get our children up out the system. Definitely that. And celibacy is the only way, because they always catch us up on some sexual shit. They always say we did this with the girl or did that and that. We ain't doing none of that. Everybody's here. You can tell when a person ain't celibate. You can tell when a person went to the corner and jacked off and shit. We don't make you lazy. Jacking off and busting nuts every day, having sex 3 times a month at least, it's making you weak, you know? A year at that matter. You ain't supposed to bust a nut but once a year if you're going to do that one. That's all the shit that you accumulated up through that year, those type of thoughts that got into that light that you just got to let that out you. Most High find a way to get it about you anyways, even if you ain't even having lustful thoughts. The angels make sure you sleep deep enough to get it about you. You be pissed, but at the same time it's like, yeah, because I ain't had nothing. That was that one last little point, because they're finding ways to get that light up out you. Right now that light's in the cerebral spinal fluid that's going around you. You got lust and, you know, property. You want to own shit, you know. There's a lot of things. We want to own our own, but we want to own things within their world. And it's like, you're not gonna get treated fair. You can't even drive down the street without getting harassed by someone who has cluster B personality disorder, which is a law enforcement agency, who just want to get up close to getting frisky and touch your balls and stick his finger in your ass. Shit like that, man. You gotta deal with that. You've been dealing with that since you was a child, you know? Since you was a child. And when niggas is my age, you hella be used to the shit. If you're in a certain city, now you're mad. You like, I'm 50 now. You ain't no more sticking your finger in my ass. That sounds funny, but that's pretty much what it is. You gotta tell your children how to handle these people. It's hard. They cuffing niggas, children, and still pushing them. People have this disorder. It's the only way. They have the disorder, and we have to separate them. And anyone who wants to go and be with them, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? You can't do business with us because we're developing ourselves. We're healing in like a relationship. We have no contact, meaning that we're not even going. We don't care about what you're doing. We don't care about what the narcissist is doing. We know that anybody who deals with the narcissist after us is gonna go through the same shit as us. You know, but most I ain't gonna let that happen. But we know that that's what the narcissists do. They have a cycle of idolizing, dividing, and discarding. That's all they've been doing to niggas in America for the last whatever hundreds of years that they've been around us. This is why it's important for us now to break up from these motherfuckers. They've been idolizing us. They've been devaluing us. They showing it with their own hands. They've been discarding us. You know, we don't have nothing, dude. Nothing dealing with these people. We've been voting for them for what? Even if the votes was already made, for what? They get our energy just for going. They put Obama in front of us, the dude from Africa, his dad from Africa, his mom, white woman from Hawaii. That's not even possible. The Hawaiians call white folks howlies. Breathless beings, soulless beings, and they ain't even never seen an incubator with these motherfuckers. They just came to the conclusion like, these motherfuckers ain't right. They call them howlies, dog. And I ain't make that word up. We just coming up with words. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's important for us to be able to break up. And it's like, why would you get mad with a person if you look at the history of wanting to just be on their own? The people that just want to be on their own, leave alone. We're looking at everybody who's traveled the world as tourists, and they never want to go home. People who set up shop in your land and don't even go home and want to have both lands. And it's like, don't even respect the ancestral connection to your land that you have to the ancestors, to wherever sacred land on the earth. And they go there, things happen to them. I watch it. I seen it here a lot, so many times. It's ridiculous. I'm like, damn, it was crazy. It still happens every day here. The spirit here is different. The veil is very thin, and you know, their spirits are just now crossing the water. So this is what makes them get into the planes every damn day like a crazy motherfucker. In real life, niggas ain't trying to get on that plane every day, cross that water with all that fire and all that shit. Go to a place where there's volcanoes. Let's go live there. These are the fire people. Yeah, they're connected with Ra, the creator. Did you know it was a sacred triangle? That's what I'm saying. All of us has been influenced by this narcissistic and sociopathic entity. We have to stop doing luau's and shit. Like, hold up, man. Y'all come visit the island, man. I ain't finna go out here and do no luau. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a luau on the beach with my family. We're gonna sit right here. We're gonna have the wisdoms on the beach doing it, and the men sitting there smoking having their meat and smoke. You know what I'm talking about? The good one. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. You know, and chilling and bringing good vibes, which is the real true aloha, the true breath, the happiness. That's what you're supposed to have. And everybody know what aloha is in this triangle with all these islands over here. The Tongans, the Samoans, the Fijitans. They look just like niggas, man. You got the Solomon Islands look just like niggas, and Tahitian too. But they mixed in with them. The white man mixed in with a lot of them. They're not as copper as they were, like this. You know, and fluffy hair that they used to have and shit. You see a few, and they speak totally different. They have a fast speech, because we ain't never been in. They're a tribe. They're part of the faithists, the Iron Ones, or the Israelites, you want to call them and shit. Part of the 12 tribes. They speak with a different vibe, but they don't bother you. You don't bother them. People who always got to bother you, you can tell they're artificial a little bit, and they always got to try to control things. The Hawaiians and the Tahitian, all, and they don't try to control none of that. You know what I'm saying? They just like niggas. But we see with us, we let it go too far. You know, and they went too far too, because they letting tourists come in everywhere from around the fucking world to come around and just bring their evil spirits around and shit. That's pretty much what it is, you know. Everybody got spirits on them, you know. That's why refinement has to be taking place, and lands do have to be separated. You know, in their books, they want us all to unite. And it's like the only way we can do that is if everybody put in their own work separately. And then we can find a common uniting spot to be like, okay, we all come in here. Because that means that, hey, that spirit's on you, spirit's on me and all that. They know and understand who the fuck I am. I know you is. We don't get down with that type of shit. Now we're going to go chill out. I want to experience your food. I want to hear your music. You know, I don't want to hear my music. I don't want to hear nothing that I know that Tay-Tay and all them niggas done created. You know? So it's important, man. So that being said, I love y'all. All right, y'all. I'll be with y'all in the next one. Thanks for joining in. And this is not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. If anyone wants to, you know, we want to donate or slide through to help for a season. We're gonna have some land, and we're gonna, you know, donate trees and things that are prosperous for us. You know, cloth and teaching and learning and things of that nature that you may have. Then yes, you can actually add on and deal with that. You know, but as far as us healing and talking, we have to talk amongst each other. But if you want to add on to us and help us when we build the lands and, you know, plant trees and, you know, do carpentry, things of that nature, you know what you know, you can add on like that. But as far as us healing, we having our own ciphers and talking amongst each other at these points. And we don't hate no one. Black folks don't hate no one at all. Never did. We still don't even hate the white man. Ain't that something? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But if we don't, that's because the Most High has his hand on us and his people, P. You know, you don't want us to go sour like, you know, our African brother. You know, our African brother's kind of sour a little bit. He deal with white folks very harshly. And the white folks want us to deal with them harshly like that. And you see it in certain videos. But it's like, damn, I got to be all in your face and say, get the fuck out of my face. I got to say that. It's like a roach, you know? And it's like, if you have any humane essence in you, you will just go away for a second. You know what I'm saying? And leave a mug to heal a little bit. Or just mind your business. It don't like we hate you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't be a nigga all up under your girl all the time. You know what I'm saying? Let you go out and be a man. Same difference. You know what I'm saying? No, you know, just keep it cool like that, man. Said I'm about to hop up off here. I thank y'all for joining in. You know, we're definitely healing. We're acknowledging the sociopathic injuries that took place, which is called gaslighting and projection. And being too close proximity of these people will make you crazy. It's crazy making. You know, they actually have tentacles on their aura that they gotta stand close to you like this. Yeah, just like that. So they tentacles put it right on your aura. They got this on National Geographic. They already got it on National Geographic. They got tentacles that lag on right onto your aura. They got to get super close. So when that 6-foot thing went down, they were pissed. And then they'll have the women to be the first one to pop up. Oh, you okay? Like, nah, I need to have you 6 feet. We really got to be 50 feet. We're noble people. We're not even supposed to be in 100 yards of each other. You're supposed to look at me from a very far away. But right now you're spoiled because you're narcissistic. I'm up under you. I have to be until everything takes place, you know? But for the rest of our people, they know and understand. For the rest of the people in the world, they far away from us. They don't really have no hate. They're learning from us. They actually want to eat some of our food and shit like that. They actually going to have a good vibe for meeting us, and versus just pulling up on the shores and being on the shore with some trench coats on, looking all sad face like. They're going to pull up and see us. They're like, nigga, I seen so much about you, man. I didn't know you could do 30 flips and da-da-da-da. You can walk on air. Damn. You know what I mean? They're going to be so loving to you. You know what I'm saying? Versus the last batch, the Cabbage Patch that came into the game. So it's going to change around. And they're going to hurt themselves. Basically, they self-sabotage. That's what they do. So we have to let them die. It's kind of crazy to say it like that. And we're not, like, killing them. You know? Because they want to do that to us. So we don't have to do that to them. You know what I'm saying? That's why they like, damn, why won't you do that to us? Because we want to do that to you. But it's like, you know, we so much of a killer that you do your own self. And we contracted some of them traits, but not all of us will do it. But some of us will, you know? When we've been around this type of toxic relationship for so long, we're at a point where we like don't even care no more. We're numb. Our people start only hurting themselves. They don't even go out to hurt anybody else, you know? Because we developed the cluster B personality disorder. And unity through celibacy, semen retention, man first for sure. You attract the right woman and mates that put up that work. You know when they put in the work, because you'll see some chicks that's coming up to you. You know, some of them is holding it in depending on where they at. If they around a lot of men, they can hold it in a little bit. But if they just like men, they'll come up to you like, wow, shit. They can't hold it in, G. You know, and they want it because they feel the energy. You know, but if they got a mass and they're a narcissist woman, you know what I mean? They'll hold it in. They'll probably be like, or they'll find a way to try to devalue you. It depends. Idolize, devalue, and discard. Any of those things. They're idolizing you, make sure you're gonna know. So devalue is coming next, or discarding is coming next. Meaning like, I don't want to fuck with you, and then I even devalue even more. That's why I don't want to fuck with you. You know, in this any of those orders. You know, they'll idolize you later after devaluing you first. Like, damn, I should have got with that motherfucker. All of that. You know what I'm saying? This is how we figure out and understand. They on the first resurrection in their heavens. We up there getting information from the third resurrection right now. How? Because our Kundalini is up now. Now we seeing that, okay, you're purging out all your cerebral spinal fluid. That ain't get in my mind, nigga. They become kiss me and shit. I'm like that. But your cerebral spinal fluid supposed to be going through your whole body. You're a crystal. You know what I'm saying? See? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, you gotta, you know, your cerebral spinal fluid is connected with your semen. I got a whole bunch of people. Look at this shit. People coming through. But anyways, that supposed to, you know, it goes throughout your whole body. So once they know that your light is kind of like toxic and it's going through your body, then it's like, hey, they want to make sure to keep it dirty, like a dirty lymphatic system type shit. And basically creating spiritual tumors in your energy pathways and shit. You know, that's where it's at. So we're in like cosmic metaphysician type shit, you know. And for them to be a true metaphysician, knowing the spiritual pathways, they would have to kind of learn a little bit about the biology of man, of flesh, and knowing that your light mixes in with all that, so they know if you got dirty light, or if you got that clean light, man, and that you're actually, you know, cultivating your light. You're actually getting certain thoughts out. You're not ruminating on things. You're using the stars for what it is. Like right now, the Mercury retrograde is with the phone. You know what I mean? No, baby, we strong over here. But yeah, man, that's much what it is. I know I was saying something, but I'm like that. Something I was gonna say, but I am winding it down. You know, I'm gonna try to come over here in my little spot. Oh yeah, they little tentacles, all that stuff is going on, P. You gotta just go no contact. You gotta leave them alone. High and by is pretty much what it is. You know, they need to talk a little bit more, interview you a little bit more. That's pretty much what they're doing. They need to interview you a little bit more. It's up to you if you want to give them the energy. But you got to be charged up, you know what I'm saying? To a point where you got to eat a lot of more fruits, and you know, those are the higher spirits and shit. Remember, you know how you drink, you be like, oh, I feel good now and shit. But you eat the fruits, same difference. You know, hopping into the right Sabbath, all these different things, it plays a role into this. All right. So with that being said, I love y'all. Thanks for joining in. Celibacy is the way. We're gonna use the year of the Lamb coming through. All right. And I'll be with you in the next one. One time for the Cabbage Patch. One time.